Welcome to our second episode of ThatDude.
This episode is sponsored by Tava Life. And Tava Life is a company that you can lose weight and you'll be fit. It has teas, shakes, and coffee. You can drink it and stay on a steady diet and you will lose weight pretty fast. So I'll say this is sponsored by Tava Life, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
So after the first episode, we talked about Jordan Poole and Dylan Brooks. This episode, we're going to talk about one player and one team that's playing good right now. Underrated team. They're the 8th seed for a reason, or not for a reason. They should have been number one the way they're playing because they're just going right through teams. And, this episode might not be that long. But, yeah, Jimmy Butler, he's playing unbelievably good. It's not just him that's playing good, it's his teammates. But Jimmy Butler, put up 35 against the Celtics, which was the highest out of all the players that was playing that night. And, Jimmy Butler is different. They can't stop him. He hit a crazy shot at the end of the game, close to the end of the game. I had to put that up on the screen. But, I just, the Celtic, they're a good team defensively. They're a lot of talk, if I'm being honest. They're underratedly talkative team. They talk too much too, just like the Grizzlies. Teams have to get humbled. I'm surprised they didn't get humbled after losing to a very questionable Warriors team. The Warriors team that, people say was washed. I still can't believe they got eliminated to the Lakers, but the Lakers was playing good that whole series. But I feel like the Denver Nuggets is going to destroy them. But, anyways, Jimmy Butler, him, Bam is playing great. Him and Bam is playing great. Vincent, he had 15 points. There was a lot of people who had double digits simply because the Celtics couldn't defend the three. They couldn't defend the three. They shot 50% from the three. The Heat shot 50% from the three, while the Celtics only shot 34%. That's the difference. The Heat is an underrated defensive team in this playoffs because they lead the league in a lot of defensive categories during this playoffs. And they're probably the best defensive team out of the remaining teams. I would have to say so. But Celtics have more offensive power, so I'm surprised, they didn't lose that bad, but, they got held to under 120, and they gave up 15 or 16 threes. The threes, I don't know. They shot pretty high. They must have been leaving them open or something, They shot pretty high from the three-point line. The one thing I could say is they turned the ball over a lot too. The Celtics turned the ball. Both teams turned the ball over, but the Celtics turned it over 15 times, while the Heat, it was like 11 or 12, maybe 10 times. They didn't turn the ball over that much, which is honestly not surprising. They're a good team. But I feel like Jimmy Butler is him. He's a different beast. This Heat team is scary, with Jimmy Butler's playing like this. When he has a bad game, I feel like if his castmates could step up, they're going to be a scary team. And you can't beat the Heat when they're a scary team. And it's funny how Jason Tatum, he had a decent game, 30 points. Him and Jimmy was the highest two out of both teams. But, that Jaylen Brown has to step up during this series. I haven't heard much from him in this whole playoffs, actually. Him and Marcus Smart, which you won't hear from a defensive player like Marcus Smart. But still, the second best player on the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, I'm sure he wants to leave the Celtics. That's been some rumors, And, I feel like the Celtics, they have a lot of bad, energy over there in TD Garden. It's a scary place to play, I heard. from all those NBA players, you know, it's not that fun to play in the TD Garden because of how, you know, rude the fans are. You know, they got some accents too, man. I can't believe it. You know, me being from the South, they got a really good accent, and I feel like the Heat, if they don't get intimidated by the fans, what most teams do, the Heat can go back. You know, I feel like Jimmy Butler's gonna get his revenge this year. You know, because they almost had it last year. His foot was on the line. That dude's foot was on the line. I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was Duncan Robinson's foot was on the line, but if their foot wasn't on the line, they would have tied the game with Jimmy Butler's clutch 2-point shot or mid-range shot. You know, it would have been a better game if they caught it. You know, because his foot wasn't on the line apparently, and it was fouled. It was a foul. The Celtics did foul. So I feel like if the refs, you know, get better at their job and, you know, they start doing more stuff right in the NBA, because the NBA got to hold their refs more accountable. You know, that's off topic, but they do got to hold them more accountable. You know, and yeah. So that's all for this episode. I told y'all it was gonna be short. I got y'all a good 5 minutes and 30 seconds, almost 6. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.